From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Sorry about that, y'all. I know we got started a little late, but I hit the record button on accident. I want to do all the setting things back up and all that stuff. But sorry about wasting 15 minutes of your time. But that just means that I'm just gonna go straight through today and everything like that. And when I go ahead and I edit this up real quick, get this part out the way, and set it up all the way correctly on the IG. So I hope you guys are feeling good today, man. I'm feeling great, man. I hope everybody, we can go ahead and make us some good money today. So pretty much up first, let's go ahead and jump into our bowl preview, which is going to be for December 27th. We have two bowl games for that day. The first one is going to be the Quick Lane Bowl. That's going to be in Detroit. This used to be the Motor City Bowl. Now it's the Quick Lane Bowl. And pretty much in this one, we have Western Michigan going at Nevada, and you have Western Michigan in here 7-5. Nevada is 8-4, plus 4.5 to Nevada as well too, and over and under 56.5. Now we do know why they are making Nevada the dog here, because their quarterback is entering the draft. I don't know if he's going to be playing in his final college career game, but he did confirm that he is going to the draft. So that kind of is a 50-50 bag grab right there, but I still think that this is still warrants to be a very good game. Now you have a Western Michigan team that's 5-6-1 against the spread. They're even when it comes to the over and under, and straight up as a favorite, they're 6-4, and then against the spread, they're 4-5-1 as the favorite, and they are split when it comes to the over and under as a favorite as well too in those 10 games that they've been the favorite. Now Nevada comes in here 8-4 against the spread, just like their record. Also, they've went over in 8 out of the 12 games that they've played in, and straight up as an underdog, they're 2-4, but they're 4-2 against the spread. Also, when it comes to the over and under as an underdog, they have went over 4 out of the 6 games that they've been involved in. Now, what I see here is I really do like the way that Nevada is coming into this game. I know that they're coming off of a good win to end the season as well too, and I think that they've just played against tougher here in the last few weeks and everything like that. Western Michigan actually had a pretty bad November. They actually had dropped their first 3 games. I think they dropped 4 in a row before they actually were able to put it together and get themselves a nice win at the end of the year, and pretty much salvage their bowl eligibility as well too. I think a team that's playing like that, it should not be a 4.5 point favorite. They've already jumped to 6 as well too, from what I'm seeing on the line. I like Nevada here. I think that I'm going to go ahead and take Nevada as another big dog play here. So pretty much you'll catch that on my picks list tomorrow. And guys, remember, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I do put it in there correctly for you guys, that this will be for the first, this will be through the 17th through the 27th, which I'm going to be releasing tomorrow. And then we'll have the 28th through the 4th next week. So pretty much that's the game for you. Western Michigan, Nevada at Ford Field in Detroit. It should be a good one on the 27th of December. That's going to wind up falling on a Monday as well too. So it should be fun. All right. So let's go ahead and move forward to our next bowl game, which is going to be the Military Bowl. The Military Bowl is a pretty good one. We have the Military Bowl between two Midland teams. They're both 6-6. Eastern Carolina coming to this one much better this year, and actually Eastern Carolina is coming into this one 7-5. Sorry, excuse me. And then you have Boston College 6-6 this year. The Military Bowl. This game is always a very good. They always put together 2 really good teams in this bowl game as well too. So it should be a very, very fun game. Now, when I look at a lot of things that are occurring here now, I see that you got Boston College 6-6 against the spread, just like their record. They've went under 9 out of the 12 games, but as a favorite, because they will be the favorite on game day, and the reason being 4-0 straight up as a favorite, also 3-1 against the spread as a fave, and then they've also they split it when it came to the over and unders. Boston College just played against much better this season, but ECU, I'll be dead honest with you, they were terrorizing teams there in the last 6 weeks of the season. They did put together some pretty good games and pretty good spots as well too. So they can't be slept on. And they're coming into this one 7-5 against the spread. Also, they went under in 8 out of the 12 games this year as an underdog. They're 5-3 against the spread, but they are 3-5 straight up as the underdog, and they went under in 5 out of those 8 games as well too. I really do like Boston College going into this game, even though Eastern Carolina does loom a danger somewhat in this spot. I still think Boston College would be too much in a in a kind of a game that kind of talks to their tradition a little bit and everything up there in the Northeast and everything, that they're how they are with Boston College and all that stuff, and people that were in the armed services and stuff. So there it is with that. The Military Bowl should be a good one. Eastern Carolina and Boston College. And let's see how it shakes out. Let's see how it goes. But we move forward, and let's go ahead and jump into the Monday Night Football preview for today. And I know I just got to, and honestly, I'm not going to sit here talking about this too long because I sat for about an hour and 45 minutes going over every single football game that's going on this week in the NFL. And this was the first one we talked about. So when I look at my notes for this game coming up, and if you guys missed the show, as you guys know that the Chiefs are 4-2 straight up on primetime this year. They've been in 3 Sunday night football games, 3 Monday night football games. Now against the spread, they're 3-3. And first, the Chargers, since the Chargers moved back to Los Angeles, and if people, and don't say I'm wrong, because everybody has to understand the first year the Chargers existed, they were a Los Angeles team. So they came back home too, even though it was about 50 years later. So the Chiefs are 4-0 against the Chargers since they came back to LA. Also, they've won 7 straight versus the Chargers as well too in either San Diego or in LA. Carson, or in Inglewood. You know what I mean? They beat them in 3 different cities, okay? So there it is. All right, and then when it comes to their actual matchups, though, between these two teams, they're 4-3. The Chiefs are actually 4-3 straight up versus this team as well too. So since they moved back to LA, so that's that works out pretty well for them. And on the road in this series, they've actually wound up going 3-2 against the spread and straight up. On the season, that's for the Chiefs. That's not in this game, but that's on the season. They're 3-2. And then when it comes to the over and under, they went over in 3 out of their 5 road games this year as well too. They've averaged 30.4 points per game, allowing 24 points per game. Now they scored 30 plus points on the road 4 out of 5 of the games that they've played in on the road. And also, when it comes down to the division, they're 3-1 against the spread and straight up, and they've won 3 straight division games as well, too. And also, when it comes down to the division, they are split. Now, the Chargers are 2-0 straight up on primetime, 1-1 against the spread. They had a Sunday night football game and a Monday night football game. They get to the trifecta, which is going to be a Thursday night football game. So they're right where the Rams were able to do this as well, too. So that goes, and if you do the count, I think we've done 8 national games at the new stadium in Los Angeles. So there goes to tell you that's the most popular kid on the block right now, and the Super Bowl will be hosted there as well too. So we have the Chargers winning their last 2 games against the Chiefs. Yes, that was on the road, but they've won the last 2 matchups that they had as well too. Now in their last 6 meetings, they're even 3-3. Okay, and then when it comes down to the against the spread and straight up, the Chargers are 3-1 as an underdog this season, and all 3 wins came against teams that are all vying for playoff spots right now. That being Washington, also the Chiefs that they're playing tonight, and the Bengals as well too, with the 1 loss coming to the Ravens. So they put themselves in a pretty good position when it comes to being an underdog this season as well too, and also they came back around and are 4-3 straight up at home, but 3-4 against the spread. And then when it comes down to how things are when it comes to the over and under. They've went over in 4 out of their 7 games at home this season. They are averaging 30 and a half they're averaging 30 and a half points per game, and they're allowing 25.1 points per game. So that's very similar in a sense how these teams come in here. But this is one thing that kind of gets me excited about what I can see with the Chargers right now. The Chargers have won their last 2 games in a row, and they've absolutely sliced and diced their opponents as well too in those games, outscoring their opponents 78-35 in those matchups as well too. I know against the Giants they kind of didn't, it didn't really matter at the end of the day because they just were whooping on the Giants, but still 78-35, that's pretty good right there. And then when it comes to the division against the spread and straight up, they're 2-1. So all in all, this game feels like you should pick the Chargers here, but I'm going to go ahead and play the devil's advocate a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and take the big game team here, and that's going to be the Chiefs. The Chargers just aren't a big game team yet. They got a big game quarterback, but I don't know if they're ready for the big home game as of yet. Now, years ago, 10 years ago, hey, you know what? Chargers would have been able to walk into this one home game as well too. They will probably, be a monster favorite in the spot, but the way the Chargers have been at home since they've returned to Los Angeles in big games like this one, they never show up. I promise you that. And pretty much I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb. Even though I'm going against the team I feel is the hotter team coming into the game, I still think the Chiefs just have their number here in Los Angeles, and they wind up getting the game. I'm going straight up here, too, as well, with the money line as well, too, as you guys already know. And then I got some more bets for you guys once we get to that portion of the show. But all in all, though, this is going to be probably the best Thursday night football game of the season. I'm telling you guys that right now, that this should be the best Thursday night football game of the season, to be dead honest with you. And I think that both these teams reserve the right to say that, hey, you know what? After this, pretty much this will probably most likely be either the number 1 or number 2 seed in the AFC. So, yeah, this game is very, very important. And also, I would say that I will go out on a limb and say this. This settles who's going to win the AFC West Championship this season as well, too, even though these teams do have divisional games left with teams with some good records as well, too. But still, I would say that this would be the championship game for the division this season. All right, so that will be a wrap on the Chiefs and the Chargers, and I cannot wait till kickoff at 5:20 today. I look forward to it. I literally almost went to the game myself, but if I went to the game, I wasn't going to be able to bless you guys today. So pretty much there it is. But everybody that's going to the game tonight, make sure that you that you get in there safely, and you have yourself a good time tonight, and no shenanigans, no getting crazy. You know what I mean? So we move forward, and let's go ahead and jump into the NBA. And I'm going to just be real quick. Lakers, just a heads up, no State of the Lakers today. I'll bring State of the Lakers back tomorrow when we talk about the Minnesota game and break that down in depthly and go a little bit further into this Mavericks game that happened last night. But all in all, though, just for the haters and all the people that just want to keep calling for trades and all that good stuff, the Lakers have won their last 8 out of 12 games, and they're on a 3-game winning streak right now, and they're going to Minnesota, a place that they haven't lost at in a very long time. So, yeah, they lost to Minnesota earlier in the year, but they didn't take that team as serious as they should have because they came in there on a 5-game losing streak. This time around, they know what they're dealing with. I think the Lakers will be at their throat as soon as we start that game, but we'll get more into depth once I go ahead and break down the numbers. But all in all, I just wanted to throw that number out there to you that the Lakers, since being 8-9 and in the middle of a long road trip, have now went 8-4 since that point. So everybody that just feels like that we have to get rid of half the team to suffice your needs, no need. As I keep telling you guys, the Lakers just have to catch the rhythm, and they're catching the rhythm as at the right time as you're going into the Christmas games and beyond. So, let's just take it one game at a time, and we should be good. So, rant over. Let's go ahead and jump into the NBA Thursday night. NBA Thursday night presents 4 matchups. We do have a game postponed as well, too. It was supposed to be 5 games, but the Chicago game has been postponed due to the COVID issues going on with the Bulls. The Bulls will be returning in their next scheduled date, though. They just went ahead and gave them their next 2 games off, and then they should come back around and be able to complete those games at certain points of the season. So we go into a East matchup here, East Division matchup between 2 Central foes, the Pistons and the Pacers. The Pistons road team tonight, and they are 4-22 coming into the game. The Pacers are 12-18. Both teams well under 500, but the Pacers seem to be kind of making up some ground a little bit. But the other day, one of their star players, Sabonis, is already asked out of Indiana. So that's probably going to be a trade talk that people will be talking about for the next few weeks. Now, the Pistons won their only matchup against the Pacers this year, their first matchup of the year. They beat them 97-89 in Detroit. So this is one of their 4 victories on the season was against the Pacers. Now, the Pistons come into this game straight up for the month 0-5. Now, against the spread, they're 2-3. And this is kind of rare right here because the Pistons usually have a tendency of staying under in a lot of these games. They've actually went over in their first 4 out of 5 games here for the month of December. So we'll see what the Pistons are up to tonight. I think that the Pistons they'll be better tonight. They'll be good tonight. So Pacers coming off of a bad loss last night in a game that most thought they could win because you had no Giannis there last night. So if you couldn't beat the Bucks without Giannis, I'm not going to get so crazy about moving forward with you in a spot like this, knowing that you guys got some issues coming into the day. You know what I mean? So I just don't. I don't know. I just don't think that. I think that, you giving the Pistons 10.5 and they already have a win over this team as is, that's like a steal to me, to be honest with you. So if I'm leaning to the side, I do like the points with the Pistons. But to be honest with you, though, I think with this team, the way that they're going over this month, this game should be an over game as well, too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But this will be another fun game tonight that most won't be interested in, but still. If you're a Pistons and Pacers fan, you'll be locked in on this one. All right, so we move forward for another divisional matchup, and this is going to be in the OG Atlantic, and this is going to be between the Nets and the 76ers. And the Nets coming in here as the home team tonight, and the 76ers road team. And, the 76ers 15-14 on the season. The Nets are 20-8. Now, the 76ers, they have been a very moody team this year. It's been a struggle for these guys. Now, they did start off the month very well. They actually started off the month 3-1. Since that point, though, they've only been 1-3. So they've lost their last 3 out of 4 games going into the night. And also against the spread, they're 3-5 against the spread. And they are 1-5 after a 2-0 start against the spread this month as well, too. So, yeah, this thing is getting a little messy now here in Philly. And then when it comes to the over and under, I've seen them go under in 5 out of the 8 games that they've been a part of this month as well, too. Now, the Nets did beat the Sixers 114-109 back on October 22nd. That was about the 3rd game of the season for the Nets, and I think the 2nd game of the year for the Sixers. Now, the Nets coming to this game, I think Harden will probably be out with the protocols and things of that nature, but the Nets do come into this game 5-2 straight up in the month of December. They have won the last 3 in a row as well, too, after starting the month 2-2. And then they are 3-4 against the spread in December, and also they've went under in 5 out of their 7 games. So when I look at this one with no Harden and the way that Philly's offense is working this year, they're not scoring that many points for my liking. And I think that they can find themselves put into some bad situations with that. And I think what happens here tonight is that The game stays under, and I think that Philly could possibly pull off a nice little short upset, because thing is, it's not that big of a difference on the line. It's only a point and a half, and actually Philly is the favorite, so it wouldn't be that much of an upset. So Philly could mess around and sneak around and mess and win this game tonight. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out, but we'll have to see though, because Philly's just been an absolute just question mark when it comes to these games as well too. So let's go ahead and move forward to our next game, which is going to be the Knicks and the Rockets. And as everybody knows, back in about 1994, we had the Knicks and Rockets square off in the finals, Ewing versus Olajuwon, or Ewing versus Hakeem. And it was an absolute epic series. It was the first time we didn't see the Bulls for 3 years in a series. It went 7 games. The Rockets wound up winning the series, but everybody knows that the Knicks could have finished that bad boy in game 6 and has kept the Knicks winless when it comes to that ring for almost 50 years. That was 30 years. So, hey, y'all got, man, or 25, whatever it was. But yeah, the Knicks are still seething about that. John Starks still can't get a free meal in Brooklyn any day of the week. It wasn't John's fault, though. I think it was a whole team effort that night. I think they got a little too cute. Riley thought Magic Johnson was going to come out the locker room, and it just didn't work that way for him that night. But they got there. All right, so you have the Knicks coming into this game. They are the favorite tonight. I really don't know why. This team is 1-6 against the spread this month, straight up as well, too. Also, when it comes to the over and under, they went over in 4 out of those 7 games as well. And they did beat the Rockets when they did play this year as well, too. They've already beat the Rockets this year in a game that was pretty much handled, but the Rockets made it interesting later on. It was a Saturday afternoon game at the Garden, and the Rockets were actually a +11 in that game. The Knicks wound up winning that game by 7, but at that point in time, the Knicks were playing much better basketball. At this point in time, the Knicks are just absolutely putrid. And, it's tough to really fade a team that's won their last 8 out of 11 games. They had their early 7. They had their quick win streak stopped last night by the Cavs as well, too. The Cavs were able to get themselves a big win, and both teams had the same exact numbers going into the game. But the Cavs were the home team, and they took care of their business. Now, they're 5-3 straight up in the month of December. This is very good for a team that started the year off. Honestly, they started off the year, and I'm not making this up, they were 1-16. Since that point, though, they're 8. Since that point, though, they're 8-3. Okay, and I just threw the 5-3 straight up out there for you guys because they were coming into this month on already a 3-game winning streak, and then it turned into a 5-game winning streak this month. So yeah, this team is doing pretty good. And against the spread, the Rockets are 7-1 in December. And also over under, they have went over in 6 out of the 8 games that they played at in December. And just note this, they haven't lost a home game in I don't know how long. I'm looking at the numbers now on when was the last time the Rockets lost a home game. And they're coming into this one as a 5-point dog. Come on, lines makers. You guys are just over here handing me money, right? So the last time the Houston Rockets lost at home was on November 12th against the Portland Trailblazers when they lost by 12, okay? They haven't lost a home game since that point. So, yeah, we have to just understand what we're dealing with right now. This Rockets team is damn good. So I like them tonight as my dog of the day, and I think we need to get right because we dropped the dog of the day 2 days in a row. We got to get that bad boy tonight, though. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. But Knicks at the Rockets, it should be a doozy. All right, and in the nightcap, we have the Wizards at the Suns. The Wizards wanted like 3 days off because this team is probably the most active team I've seen in the last 6 weeks. I was like, when do they get a day off? So I'm looking at the numbers now coming into this game. You have a Wizards team 15-14. They're having their worst month of the season as well. They're 2-6 straight up in December. They're also 1-7 against the spread this month. And then when it comes to the over, they've actually went over in 5 out of the 8 games that they've been involved in this month as well too. But they've been on the losing end on most of them. Now, when it comes down to the Suns, as everybody knows, the Suns won 18 games in a row. And that was absolutely incredible because that team started the season off dropping their first 2 out of 3 games. And actually, let me take that back. They dropped their first 3 out of 4 games this season. So just when you look at it, that team is actually 21 and what is it? 21-2 since that point. So wow, just wow. Will they be able to hold that up for the rest of the season? I doubt it, but it's an incredible run to start the year off. All right, so the Wizards, as I've already gave you the numbers on them. Now the Suns coming here 4-2 straight up in the month of December. And then also after posting a perfect month, the first time a perfect month had happened in the NBA since the 73-9 season with the Warriors. So you have a team that's 3-3 against the spread this month in December, and they've went under in 4 out of 6 of their games. It's such a new world with Phoenix. Phoenix used to be the over. You see a Phoenix game, bet the over. Nowadays, though, it's like bet the under because they are a consistent team that keeps the other team under a lot. So there it is with the Wizards and the Suns. I think tonight the Suns are going to be a very big over bet. So I really do like the spread tonight on the Wizards being +9. I think it's good. I think it's a strong bet there. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. But let's go ahead and jump into your favorite segment, my favorite segment, and the whole reason why we pull up every day for this, Talking Tickets. All right. So with Talking Tickets, we have ourselves pick 6 going on in college basketball today. It's a light day in college basketball as well, too. I think we got about 8 games in college basketball, and literally I've given you guys 90% of them right here. So we have App State plus 22.5 tonight going against Duke in their usual tune-up game at Cameron. And then you have IUPUI, the Indiana University, Purdue University love child. So we have them at -3 tonight. They're going against Chicago State, a team that's probably won about 2 games in the last 3 years. And then we have Stanford tonight, who's -14. They're going against Dartmouth in a battle of the brains, and somewhat. Stanford's kind of is probably in store for a very down year after seeing them get beat by 30 some odd points by Baylor, and then see them come back and get beat by almost 20 against another highly ranked team. I don't think Stanford is going to be any danger to any of these real good teams in the Pac-12 this season, but it will always be a tough game when you do have to play in their house in Palo Alto. We all know that. And then you have UMBC, the 16 seed fame, the first 16 seed to ever win a first round game. They have themselves a mixed bag game, in my opinion, tonight. I really like how they're coming into this bad boy. They are the home team, so I favor them. So I'm going to go ahead and take the -130 with them tonight. Then you have Stetson going against the College of Charleston, and I like Stetson as the home dog tonight with the +5. I think they're able to cover. They keep that game very close. And then we got Charleston Southern tonight with the money line at +145. They're another unique home team that I think can do some wonders for us tonight. So there it is, 50-1 on the CBB PrimeTime PK6. All right, so let's move forward to let's move. Not this one. I'm sorry. The NBA PrimeTime PK4 is at 15-1 tonight. We have the over 210 with the Pistons and the Pacers, as I told you guys before. You look at the numbers, the Pistons have been able to have their games have been going over because they're giving up more points and scoring more points. Now, when it comes down to the under, the 76ers and Nets, that's my spot tonight, under 216.5. I just think that the star players aren't going to be as efficient tonight as they should be, and I think this actually gets into the high 90s, low hundreds, like 102 to 100 or something like that. But I do expect a close game. And my dog of the day with the hottest team in the Western Conference, even though right now you wouldn't put them in the playoffs, but come on, dude. After a 1-16 start, you're 9-19 now. Come on, 8-3 over your last 11. Come on, man. You can't deny this team. And the Knicks have been absolutely dreadful. The Knicks have dropped 6 in a row to start the month. Well, not even 6 in a row. They dropped 5 out of 6, and then they've literally just been really, really bad. The last after starting the season 5-1. Just peep this. You start the season 5-1. At this point now, you're 7-15 since that point. Can't trust you. Got to take the Rockets with the money line plus 170. And then we finish up with the Wizards tonight plus 9. I'm doing the over bet angle on the Suns tonight. I think the Wizards take care of their business. They cover. They make the Suns work for this win tonight if they win the game tonight. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And let's go ahead and finish up with our Monday Night Football bets. As I told you guys earlier, I'm taking the Chiefs with the minus 165 tonight. Also, I'm taking the over 26.5 first half. I think both these teams are going to be scoring. I think that this game actually gets up into the 30s or the 40s tonight. Defense might as well stay at home tonight. This is going to be a hell of a game, I'm telling you. And then I got the Chiefs first quarter tonight as well too. The Chiefs first quarter. This is the Chiefs first quarter right here. This isn't like a Chiefs minus 250 spread bet. This is the Chiefs at half a point first quarter. I expect the Chiefs to be up at least 3 points. I think that they start the game with the lead, but they're going to have to fight for this win tonight. The Chargers are not going to lay down for them at all. And then the Chiefs over 28, I think we can go ahead and book it. It seems like every team that has playoff aspirations that's came to SoFi, except for the Raiders, can get over about 27, 28 points in those games. So I like what we see here. The last time they played against a team that's in the playoff race, they wound up giving up a lot of points that day. They wound up giving up 38 points to the Steelers. And we all know the Chiefs have a much better offense than the Steelers right now. So there it is. Those are our talking tickets for today. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. And, man, double duty today, man, as well. So you guys, I've been in your face for almost 3 hours today. So you know what? It's time for me to get a little bit of a break, huh? So I thank you guys very much once again for tuning in. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Ankles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And as I always say, if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.